Okay, now we'll continue with amyloidosis classification. As I mentioned, amyloidosis can also be classified as primary and secondary amyloidosis. So, under systemic, the primary would be plasma cell dyscrasias EL type. Secondary would be any background of chronic inflammation, amyloid associated protein is seen, and the organs commonly involved are in EL kind it is heart, bowel, skin, nerves, and kidney. And in case of AA type is liver, spleen, kidneys, and adrenals. So basically, all the organs are involved. Hemodialysis associated amyloidosis would be in the background of chronic renal failure, which you already learned, A beta 2 microglobulin, which can the amyloid can be seen deposited in synovium, joints, tendon sheets. Okay, heredofamilial, hereditary polyneuropathy, familial Mediterranean fever, and rare hereditary forms. You already learned about it. Okay, the localized amyloidosis would be senile cardiac amyloidosis, where you see amyloid associated with transthyretin. Senile cerebral, in case of Alzheimer's disease, it is A beta A beta amyloid. And then endocrine, it is medullary carcinoma, thyroid, diabetes type 2. Okay, it can be procalcitonin and proinsulin. Tumor forming can be seen like lungs, larynx, skin, urinary bladder, tongue, and eye. And the amyloid kind of amyloid deposited would be amyloid light chain protein. Okay. So primary amyloidosis is where it is seen in patients suffering from B cell proliferative disorders, especially those who secrete immunoglobulin light chains of lambda or kappa type, that is Bell's protein, which is seen in multiple myeloma. Reactive systemic amyloidosis or its secondary amyloidosis is seen in the background of any chronic inflammatory condition. Okay, it is secondary to infectious or non-infectious chronic inflammatory diseases like tuberculosis, bronchiectasis, chronic osteomyelitis, rheumatoid arthritis, ankylosing spondylitis, ulcerative colitis, and Crohn's disease. Okay, hereditary familial amyloidosis is seen in hereditary diseases like familial Mediterranean fever, wherein you see attacks of fever with inflammation of serosal surfaces like neuron, peritoneum, and synovial membranes. Okay, familial amyloidotic polyneuropathy, an autosomal dominant disorder associated with deposition of amyloid in peripheral as well as autosomal nerves. Hemodialysis associated amyloidosis, A beta 2 microglobulin, it is not filtered by the hemodialysis membrane in case of patients with chronic renal failure or undergoing dialysis. That is why this will get deposited in the kidney, and that concentration of this protein increases in chronic renal failure or patients undergoing hemodialysis. That's why it gets deposited. Okay, it doesn't get digested properly. Localized amyloidosis are partially degraded. Localized amyloidosis can be seen in either as microscopic deposits or large nodular masses. It can be seen in multiple organs like lung, larynx, skin, tongue, urinary bladder, and etc. Okay. Coming to endocrine amyloidosis. Endocrine amyloidosis is seen, I mentioned already in the previous slides, like thyroid related to calcitonin, islet tumor cells of pancreas, like that is in diabetes type 2, pheochromocytoma, type 2 diabetes, and differentiated carcinoma of the stomach. Okay. Amyloidosis of aging, that is senile amyloidosis, is seen as senile cardiac amyloidosis or Alzheimer's disease. So cardiac it is the ATTR, Alzheimer's it is A beta. Now coming to contrasting features of the primary and secondary amyloidosis, you can see here biochemical composition is primary amyloidosis is always the background of B cell neoplasm, that is AL, like AL kind of amyloid. Secondary amyloidosis is always the background of chronic inflammatory conditions, and the associated protein would be amyloid associated protein. And other associated conditions with primary amyloidosis would be plasma cell dyscrasias, multiple myeloma, B cell lymphomas, and others. In case of secondary, it is inflammatory background, it can be infective and non-infective. So all those which I mentioned, tuberculosis, bronchiectasis, osteomyelitis, Revard disease, okay, and also some cancers like renal cell carcinoma, Hodgkin's disease, okay. Pathogenesis in case of amyloid light chain protein, that is a monoclonal B cell proliferation, which leads to excessive immunoglobulins and light chains, and there is partial degradation which leads to insoluble amyloid light chain and gets very common and simple. In case of secondary amyloidosis, there is a stimulus because of inflammation, and then activation of macrophages, and that releases cytokines, and cytokines like interleukin 6, and that will lead to partial the secretion of serum amyloid associated protein by liver, which leads to partial degradation, and that gets deposited as amyloid associated fibrillary protein. Okay. Incidence is most common, primary is most common in US and other developed countries, and secondary is most common in developing countries, like worldwide of course. Organ distribution is generally primary seen in kidney, heart, bowel, and nerves, And in case of secondary amyloidosis, it is seen deposited in kidney, liver, spleen, and adrenals. Stains to distinguish would be congophilia persists after permanent treatment of the section. So specific immunostain can be used like anti-gamma, anti-kappa. And then in case of secondary, it is congophilia disappears after permanent treatment of the section, and specific immunostain for anti-amyloid associated protein. Pathogenesis I already mentioned. See, there is a stimulus and there is a protein, excess protein, and it is not degraded, so it gets deposited. Okay, it's a some common logical pathway. Now coming to primary and secondary. Primary is B cell neoplasm. Chronic is chronic inflammation, that is amyloid associated protein. You can see here monoclonal B cell lymphocyte proliferation leads to elaboration of plasma cells that releases immunoglobulin light chains that doesn't get degraded properly. So limited proteolysis leads to deposition of amyloid light chain. Chronic inflammation, there's a macrophage activation because of inflammatory mediators that leads to macrophages will release interleukins or cytokines like interleukin 1 and 6 that will stimulate the liver cells to synthesize serum amyloid associated protein, and if there is excess of serum amyloid associated protein, so limited proteolysis leads to deposition of amyloid associated protein in the extracellular matrix. Production of normal amounts of mutant protein. Okay, here it is excessive protein, but here it is production of normal amounts of mutant protein. Okay, and that is transthyretin. So whenever there is a mutation in the transthyretin gene encoding transthyretin, that leads to deposition of ATTR. Same thing, it's like a diagrammatic picture here, the pathogenesis of amyloidosis of primary as well as secondary amyloidosis. Now coming to staining characteristics of amyloid. Amyloid has a very specific staining characteristic. I mentioned in the first slide that under hematoxylin eosine stain under light microscope it appears amorphous and eosinophilic, that is pink, hyaline and homogeneous. Under special stain called as methyl violet or crystal violet, it has both are metachromatic stains. So this amyloid will give a rose to pink appearance. Congo red is the most specific stain for amyloid, which under light microscopy gives amyloid red color, pinkish to red color. Under polarizing light, it can give red-green birefringence. Thioflavin can give under ultraviolet light, it can fluoresce. Then immunohistochemistry, antibody against fibrillary protein, either amyloid light chain, lambda or kappa, or amyloid serum amyloid associated protein can be positive. Non-specific stains would be standard toluidine blue, which is an orthochromatic blue. So under polarizing, it may appear dark red. Alcian blue would give a blue-green color. This is a very important question from exam point of view. Now coming to the organ involvement, amyloidosis of heart. Okay, the heart is enlarged in case of senile amyloidosis. Okay, and here the protein deposited would be amyloid associated with transthyretin. Okay, this is like kind of it's a normal protein, but then deposited in extra. So there is enlargement of the myocardium here. As you can see here, this is the myocardial cells are enlarged and there is a deposit in the between the myocardial fibers, and that can be demonstrated by Congo red stain. This amyloidosis of intestine, again amyloid can be deposited in the epithelial cells and the mucosal surface. Coming to amyloidosis liver, again the liver is enlarged. There is a waxy yellowish deposits in the organ. So amyloidosis, the organ is enlarged and they'll have waxy yellowish deposits. Remember, waxy yellowish deposits is what we see crossly in any organ which is involved with amyloidosis. Okay, and the same amyloid deposit under microscope you can see here in the between the hepatocytes, that is in the sinusoids and in the capillaries here. Coming to amyloidosis of spleen, spleen somehow have peculiarly two morphological appearance in case of amyloidosis. Spleen is enlarged. Okay, there are two forms, that is, I'll go to the next slide. It is called a sago-spleen and lardaceous spleen, which is very important here. Sago-spleen, the splenomegaly or the enlargement of spleen is not marked. Cut surface shows characteristic translucent, pale and waxy nodules resembling sago grains. That is why it's called a sago spleen. Microscopically, these amyloid deposits in the case of sago spleen are seen in the walls of arterioles of the white pulp and may subsequently replace the follicles. Lardaceous is there is a moderate to marked splenomegaly weighing up to 1 kg. Okay, the spleen may weigh up to 1 kg. Cut surface, you can see map-like areas of amyloid, that is lardaceous. Lard-like, it means like a fat of pigs. So it is called as lardaceous spleen. Microscopically, the deposits are seen involved in the walls of splenic sinuses here, which is seen in the red pulp, and the small arteries and the connective tissue of the red pulp. Whereas in case of sago it is white pulp and arterioles. Here it is small arterioles and connective tissue of the red pulp. Confirmation is by the same thing, congophilia, Congo red stain is done, and demonstration of apple green birefringence by polarizing microscopy in the corresponding positive areas of the respective sections. Coming to amyloidosis of tongue is also enlarged. So you see macroglossia, and you can see that pale waxy nodules. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, again any an organ or any tissue which is involved with amyloidosis or excessive amyloid deposition, they would appear waxy and yellowish. Okay, grossly. Cut section also the same thing. Microscopically you can see amyloid deposits in the extracellular matrix. Remember that. And the special stain can be used, that is Congo red special stain, which gives a red color and light microscopy. Okay, so that completes amyloidosis. Okay, very important question from exam point of view. Special stains of amyloidosis is important to demonstrate amyloidosis is important, and classification of amyloidosis is important. Amyloidosis spleen is important again. Okay, these are the most important exam oriented questions.